Hi, I'm Rudy, and I wanted to speak about tick vector diseases other than Lyme. Most people know about Lyme disease, but there are a number of other diseases also. I had Lyme and was actually lucky because I had the target on my arm. I didn't know I had been bitten, and I woke up one morning and oh gee, there's a target there. I know what that is, so went to the doctor and had a course of antibiotics for that and had no residual from that. I was also bitten last year and it itched and I couldn't see it, and showed my husband and he said, oh, it's a tick, and again received antibiotics because I had had the target, which indicated having Lyme the first time. And my husband got something called anaplasmosis 2 years ago. Never knew he was bitten by a tick. Those Lyme disease ticks are teeny weeny little head of a pin black things that you don't see or even feel many times. And he suddenly had spells of being very dizzy and actually going down on the floor outside one day, and that night when he got up during the night, came back into the bedroom, boom, he was on the floor and I had to get him back in bed. With his situation, we did go to the urgent care, and their diagnosis was, had to think, dehydration, and which I did not accept, and vertigo. I didn't accept the dehydration because he hadn't been out in the heat. This was in the summertime, in June, and he hadn't drunk any more or any less fluids than what he normally does. So when we went to urgent care, they ran tests and couldn't figure out what was wrong. Said it's probably dehydration, vertigo, gave him medication for the vertigo, dizziness, sent us home, and he had the same problem that night. And in the morning, when we were going to go visit our daughter, I said, if you can walk the length of the hall, we'll go. Well, we got down the other end of our hall, which isn't very long, and he would have been on the floor had I not slid a chair in the den under him. And I have a blood pressure cuff because he tends to have high blood pressure. I generally take it every day. And I took his blood pressure, and it was, I used to be a nurse, and it scared me because it was so low. So I said, well, you can't go out to the car. I can't get you there. I'm calling an ambulance, which I did. And by the time they got here, I had taken his blood pressure again, and it was even lower. So we went to the emergency room. Eventually, he was admitted. Again, I'm hearing, well, it's probably dehydration, which again, I said, it's something beyond that. I know him. I know the situation. It's got to be something else. Well, he was in the hospital several days when they finally said, well, we think it might be something called anaplasmosis, which is carried by the deer tick. And we're going to give him antibiotics, which they did. And he also had a low white count. I don't know all of the other tests that he had done, because the symptoms of most of the tick vector diseases, of which there is Lyme, there is anaplasmosis, there is babesiosis, and we've had a friend at our church who they had difficulty diagnosing him, had babesiosis, and passed away from it. And now there's a new one, powassan, which is also tick vectored. And powassan is even more scary because powassan, I've read and heard, they have no cure for. At least with these others, they can run a course usually of doxycycline antibiotic, which is effective. Although with Lyme, and I don't know with babesiosis or anaplasmosis, if you can have a chronic residual depending on when you're diagnosed and treated, but with Lyme you can. But all of these are serious diseases which can be fatal, and which the public, I don't feel, at least till this point, has been made aware of the fact there's something beside Lyme.